So David Adeleye and Filip Hrgovic, they kind of had a bit of a war, and it was a good fight. Like, I really enjoyed that fight, and there was a lot going on. There was round 2, the cut. I think it was a cut over the right eye. That cut was nasty, and then there was the phenomenal round 8. I mean, that round 8 was absolutely incredible. I mean, you could put that up there with the great rounds of boxing. You know, the one that comes to mind is the Evander Holyfield-Riddick-Bowe round 10. It was a great round where David Adeleye was dropped, then he got up, and then he hurt Filip Hrgovic with a counter left hook. So I think in this fight, Adeleye showed a lot, and Filip Hrgovic, I think you got to give him immense credit, especially because he had that nasty cut in round 2, and effectively he dominated it. The fight was competitive, but clearly Hrgovic won the majority of the rounds. I think that would have been a unanimous decision, but Adeleye was dangerous, and I think both fighters can take a lot from this fight. So I'm just going to briefly go through my notes, and I started taking notes from round 2. So in round 2, I had Adeleye. Again, he had that short left hook, and that short left hook was working, and he actually landed in round 2 that counter jab. That was a really good strategy. You know that Adam Booth had him working on that counter jab, and he just landed it perfectly at the end of round 2, which caused the cut. Filip Hrgovic, he was like utilizing the jab, and he had a nice short left hook straight right, and that straight right was going through the target. And he was also, when they would get in the clinch, he would throw a right hand through the target, but also he was going to the body. I noticed that was probably the variation between the Filip Hrgovic that fought Daniel Dubois and the Filip Hrgovic of today, is that now he's got some body work, and that clearly would have been influenced by his trainer Abel Sanchez. So at the end of that round, there's a cut eye over the there's a cut eye over the right eyelid, and you're thinking, they do a close-up of the cut, and it looks absolutely disgusting, and you think they are going to stop this fight. So Filip Hrgovic needs to do something. So in round 3, Adeleye is using the jab to blur the vision and measure distance, and then he lands a left hook that hurts Filip Hrgovic. Oh, it's a great left hook. But generally speaking, Filip Hrgovic was punching to the head, and then he would go to the body. So he was throwing combinations, and the right hand, he was punching through the target. Generally, his right hand would punch through the target, so you can punch at the target or through the target. And I think Adeleye was struggling with that, because he was moving around, but temporarily he would go to the ropes. And when you punch through the target when someone's on the ropes, you're maximizing the chances of hurting your opponent. And the short left hook from Filip Hrgovic was doing some damage. But like I said, there was a great left hook from Adeleye. There was a sequence from Adeleye where he threw a short left hook, landed, and then threw a 1-2. And I felt like he should have repeated that sequence more. And then we got to round 4, and again in my notes you got, Filip Hrgovic, he's throwing the double jab a lot. It's like a tap, it's like bat bat, and then a right uppercut left hook, or tap tap straight right left hook. He's really utilizing his combinations, and he's using that left hook to the body, which is set up with punches to the head. And I think that left hook to the body is it's a good investment. But also what he's doing, and I really like this, generally he was shooting his right hand straight, but then he would use some variation and throw it like a hook, which obviously would hit the left side of the temple, and those punches can really take away your leg. So he was changing the trajectory. Sometimes it would come straight, and sometimes it would be a hook. And when he was throwing it straight, it was going through the target, but when he was throwing the hook, it was literally at the temple. I think Sanchez likes those temple shots. All his fighters seem to do that. Adeleye was still using the counter jabs, but this was the problem with Adelaye's performance. He had good movement, he had good counter jabs, he had a really good left hook, but there was not enough creativity. So it's throw a jab to the body and then throw a left hook, or feint with the right hand and then throw a left hook, or throw a left hook straight right. and then feint with the right hand and then throw a left hook. You need to show some greater innovation to get some success. You can't just throw your left hook. You need to set it up, you know. It's like you need a different key to open that door. So in round 5 you had again you had the good counter jab, but it was few and far between from Adeleye. And then Adeleye was pushing a lot, so he would push Filip Hrgovic back. I guess that's effective because what it's doing, it's giving you time. If you're pushing someone away, they can't punch you, and it's showing the person how strong you are. So again, that was strategic. But there was another thing that I didn't like what Adeleye was doing. He kept looking at his corner. It was like he was looking at, I'm assuming he was looking at Adam Booth, and that to me that to me is like a lapse of concentration. I don't know why he was doing that. Again, Filip Hrgovic was doing that punch creativity, double jab, then the left hook as opposed to the straight right. And then he starts throwing the left hook to the temple. So he's throwing the left hook like that. So it's like to the right temple. And this is what Golovkin used to do all the time. And he would be very effective with it. He would get you on the ropes and then do it. So again, this is an Abel Sanchez influence. And he was trying the 1-2. And when he was throwing the 1-2, it was like he wasn't throwing it here, he was throwing it there. So it was really just, he was punching straight through the target as opposed to at the target. So the 1-2 was working. Adeleye wasn't countering the 1-2. I was stating he needs to do something against the 1-2. Yes, he had the counter jab, but that wasn't enough. And Filip Hrgovic at one point landed a good counter right. I think he caught a right hand and then threw a counter right. So that's good. That shows that boxing IQ, that boxing awareness. So moving into round 6, there was good jabs from Adeleye, but he keeps looking at his corner. To me, that just says that you're confused. Why are you doing that? I don't get it. But then one good thing he was doing, he's doing the pushing, but the one good thing he started to do was put the head on the chest. So this limits the punch target for Hrgovic. And it also gives him some things to think about. But he wasn't throwing the punches. He needed to put the head on the chest and then rip to the body, head, body. It's like he did the phase 1 good, but where's the phase 2, where's the phase 3? And Filip was, at this point, was predominantly throwing the right hand through the target. Again, you had the double jab, straight right, and then now he was doing the double jab, straight right, left hook body. So there was some nice punch creativity, some nice punch variation, which we appreciate. And then again, he's bringing the right hook in, and he also had some interesting feints. He was sometimes feinting with the right hand. What was interesting in this round is that Adam Booth got quite emotional, and Adam Booth is like a really clear communicator. He's very concise, he's very calm, but you could see that Adam Booth was trying to rile Adeleye up, basically saying you can't win on points. So he was trying to, he's trying to bring the best out of him, basically. And then in round 7, Adelaye's, this is good. He's still trying the counter jab, which is good. He's trying the counter left hook, and he's pushing Filip, which is good. And again, he's putting the head to the chest, which is good, but he needs the body work. There's no body investment from Adeleye. And again, Filip Hrgovic is throwing punches. He's changing the angles now. He's just picking some nice angles. He's doing some variations like jab to the body and then left hook to the head. So again, there's some punch variation. And then he introduces a 1-2-3 and then goes back to that 1-2. So the punch variations is good. And the one thing we got to give Sanchez credit for is the way he handled that cut was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, you got to give him an A+, the way he managed that cut. I thought that fight would be stopped in round 3, but big respect to Sanchez for managing the cut. In round 8, this was when it just got really good. So I think it was a double tap, right hook, left hook from Filip Hrgovic, and then he hurts him with the right hand through the target. So he's punching the right hand through the target. He gets through, he scores a knockdown, he's going for the kill now. Adelaye's clearly hurt. But then Adeleye, it's like he's always looking for this left hook counter, right? And he hits Filip Hrgovic with this perfect left hook counter. and it definitely gets Filip Hrgovic's attention, and he seems hurt. And Adeleye starts throwing loads of hooks at him. He just starts going for it, and you can see, he's really putting everything into the punches. And you really got to take your hat off to Adeleye, because he was in trouble. He could have psychologically quit. He could have gone into survival mode. But on the verge of nearly being knocked out, he tries to get the knockout and then nearly gets the knockout. And that round ends with Adeleye being the hunter. Got to respect it. Adelaye's a warrior. It's as simple as that. It made some strategically there was some issues there, but strategically he did a lot of good stuff, but then there was so much more he could have done. And in fairness, Filip Hrgovic stayed off the ropes, which is what I said he needed to do. So in round 9, Adelaye's trying the jab, he's on the ropes, and then he's trying to bring in the overhand right, which is good, so there's some punch variety there. But again, in my notes I was like, where is the body work? Where's that straight right hand to the body and then left hook to the head? Where's that double jab and then left hook? There's just not enough punch creativity. And with a fighter with the IQ of Filip Hrgovic, you got to introduce that punch creativity. Filip Hrgovic is punching through the target, it's effective, but then he's doing little short punches as well. And his punching output, Filip Hrgovic's punching output is incredible. I mean, considering this man, I thought he had bad stamina when I looked at the McLean fight. I was like, this guy hasn't got a good, his punching engine is questionable. I don't know what what drills Sanchez has been putting him through, but his work output was phenomenal for practically every round. And then he was pushing Adeleye to the ropes, and then in round 10, still trying that left hook. He landed a lovely short right hook, Adeleye, right? So he's trying the left hook, but then he threw like a short right hook. And what it was, I think Filip Hrgovic was dipping to the right, and he just timed a beautiful short right hook. At this point, Filip Hrgovic is using the jab. He's throwing a short 1-2 at the target. So before his 1-2 was going through the target, now he's throwing it at the target. And he avoided a right hand counter, which again shows good reflexes and good awareness. And he's just shortening up his punches now, and that's good boxing intelligence. He's reading the situation and he's adapting accordingly. So what can we take from this? If you're Filip Hrgovic, you take a lot from it. You have overcome adversity again because you had a nasty cut. You've shown a high punch output, which we've never seen from you before, and we've got this punch creativity, which again, I haven't seen this level of punch creativity from Filip Hrgovic before. So there was a lot of good stuff for him that he could take from this. You could almost argue that he punched too much. You could say maybe he could have slowed down the fight, maybe he could have controlled it more with the jab. Did he have to engage so much? Because when you throw more combinations, that means you're inviting more counter opportunities. This is why fighters like Vladimir Klitschko would be primarily with the jab and with the straight right hand. They would limit your opportunities to get counter punches. Here's a reference point. Go look at Klitschko's earlier fights where he would throw a lot of punches. He would double up, triple up his left hook, and then he would go through the phases. And then look at his later fights when he was the dominant undisputed champion. You would see that he can control the tempo. So you could maybe make that criticism, but I don't think Sanchez is that type. Abel Sanchez is not that type of trainer. But Abel Sanchez has done a great job with him and has implemented his style on Filip Hrgovic, who implemented that style really well. The bodywork was good, the investments was good, and he overcame adversity. You've got to give it to him. He still has that confidence. Now, from David Adeleye, there's a lot you can take from the fight as well. He implemented the counter jab really well. The left hook was good. His bravery is beyond approach. He was a warrior in there. He really showed that he's made of certain stuff. He has what they call a heart. In boxing, they say, have you got heart? And he has heart. A warrior. so that he could take that from the fight. And he did certain things good. He moved around the ring well. The counter jab was good. The pushing him was good. The head on the chest was good. But there needed, from my perspective, I think there needed to be more punch creativity. Where was the feint and then the overhand right? Where was the double jab, straight right, left hook? Where was the feint with the right, left hook? I mean, where was the left hook to the body, left hook to the head? Like, I was expecting more punch variety from Adeleye. This doesn't suggest that he didn't work on that, because sometimes you can work on loads of different punch variations, but you get in the ring and either your opponent has nullified what you're doing, or you simply just revert back to what you're used to. But Adeleye can take a lot from the fight, but he can also, there's also things for him to improve on. Punch creativity. His punch output needs to be better. You got to throw more punches. But his power, that's another thing that shocked me, is his power. Filip Hrgovic has a good chin, but in his post-fight, he basically indicated that, I don't think he directly said it, but he indicated that Adeleye may be, I think he made reference to his heart, but indicated that he may be the hardest puncher that he fought, or that at least he was a harder puncher than Daniel Dubois. And Daniel Dubois is considered a devastating puncher. So clearly Adeleye is developing this left hook power, and that's, you know, that's promising. I really feel that if Adeleye could just introduce that punch creativity, could up his work rate and could adapt, if he could show the ability to adapt mid-fight, I think he could really be a serious contender, and on his night he could give anyone a hard day's work. But it's back to the drawing board for him. He can come back. There's a lot of talent there, and he's got, imagine, you could have all the tools in the world, but if you haven't got the heart, then it's not going to work. So, you know, I think you can salute both fighters. Salute Filip Hrgovic for coming through adversity in round 2 from the cut and in round 8, and salute Adeleye for his bravery and, you know, coming back in round 8 from nearly being stopped. And also got to give respect to Abel Sanchez. He's taken Filip Hrgovic from a defeat, and he's turned his career around with 2 good victories. And he's taken a fighter that had bad stamina, and now he's got great stamina. He can throw loads of punches. He's introduced, or he's given him now, he's introduced bodywork to his punching palette, for want of a better word. He's also got new punching angles, so now he's throwing that left hook to the temple. And also, what Abel Sanchez has shown is that Filip Hrgovic is prone to cuts, but Abel Sanchez has shown that not only is he a really good boxing trainer, he's really good at managing cuts. So I think all camps can take a lot of positivity from this fight.